Alrighty, hello, and welcome back everyone. I hope you're having a good day. I am playing some Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and we have made it. We have just beaten the Spirit Temple in the last video, which, by the way, if you have not seen that, there is a playlist here on my channel. It's got everything organized for you. Not only do I do playthroughs of this game in totality, but also I like to talk about different aspects of the game, whether it be philosophy or development. I like to wax poetical about this game sometimes because it's my favorite game. Not probably, this is my favorite game of all time. And I've grown up a lot with this game. So, we are playing on the original, let me show you this. We are playing on the original Nintendo 64. I always bring out my hardware. This is my actual Nintendo 64. I'm not emulating. Some people play on the online version on the Switch, or maybe you have a 3DS if you're lucky. Prices are outrageous right now. But I like to play on my original console. I have an entire CRT TV AV cart build actually right in front of me. So I'm lucky to have all of my old consoles from when I was a kid. They're just all stacked up really nice, and I built a really nice card for that, which I will have to show you guys in a separate video. But like I said, we have made it past the Spirit Temple, so we are now kind of in the end game here. And let me just switch back to my game screen. As you can see, we have all of our medallions, and the next thing we have to do is go to the Temple of Time. I have been summoned by Rauru, the Sage of Light, and if you know this game, then you know that we are about to head to Ganon's castle for a final showdown. But as it has it, you end up doing a Trial of the Sages, I believe is what it's called, and I don't know about you all, but I see a lot of similarities with sort of Mario's castle, the way it was sort of built. This game was after Super Mario 64, where the basic overworld, the hub for all of the gameplay is basically just the castle. And so this game is a little different. Obviously it centers around that antagonist, Ganondorf, and he's taken over Hyrule essentially in the time period between you being a child and you being an adult. There has obviously been a lot of all sorts of actions having taken place between then and now, as the adult Link. And so we're going to get started. The reason I'm trying to talk through this is because I know the very first cut is going to be a cinematic cut, because when you reboot and this is actually really nice, when you reboot your Nintendo 64 as an adult, it takes you right to the Temple of Time. So since the last thing we did was an action in the Desert Colossus, and we left the Spirit Temple, as soon as I hit yes on this, open this file, it is going to send us directly to the Temple of Time and to this penultimate, I'm going to call it, cinematic cutscene, which is a pivotal one in this storyline because it is the climax of this game. So I just wanted to get all of that out so that I could shut up during this final run. So as I go through these trials, you will see all sorts of basically everything we've learned in this game thus far. Everything is going to be put to the test in a small little dungeon-like atmosphere. And I don't know. You guys can let me know in the comments below as we play this if there are parts that you really like, parts that you hate. Is it redundant? I think redundancy is sort of the point, which is what we're going to be getting to here. Is it kind of like having yet another dungeon? Yes, essentially, but how simple would it be to just go in there and just fight Ganon, as opposed to having one more task to do? There's always one more task to do in these Zelda games, and I don't hate it, because if I could play Ocarina of Time all over again and it be new And no, I'm not talking about randomizers and stuff, although that is a cool idea. There are plenty of randomizers out there. But anyway, I am straying way far from this video. Let's get started. I have held on way too long. Let's go. I've been waiting for you, JP. Sheik has arrived. The hero of time. You have overcome many hardships and awakened 6 sages. And now you have a final challenge, a showdown with Ganondorf, the king of evil. Before that, I have things I want to tell only to you. Please listen. Another unknown legend of the Triforce passed down by the shadow folk, the Sheikahs. So we've seen this story repeated many times, but always seems to add a little bit. If you would seek the sacred triangle, listen well. The resting place of the sacred triangle, the sacred realm, is a mirror that reflects what is in the heart. The heart of one who enters it. If an evil heart, the realm will become full of evil. If pure, the realm will become a paradise. The Triforce, the sacred triangle, it is a balance that weighs the 3 forces: power, wisdom, and courage. If the heart of the one who holds the sacred triangle has all 3 forces in balance, that one will gain the true force to govern all. That never happens, does it? But if that one's heart is not in balance, the Triforce will separate into 3 parts: power, wisdom, and courage. I suppose only the goddess Hylia, which, if you've studied your Zelda lore, only one part will remain for the one who touched the Triforce, that part representing the force that one most believes in. So only one is truly worthy. If that one seeks the true force, that one must acquire the 2 lost parts. Those 2 parts will be held within others, chosen by destiny, who will bear the Triforce mark on the backs of their hands. Why the backs of their hands? I don't know. Could it be somewhere else? What if you lose your hand? You are a swordsman. 7 years ago, Ganondorf, the king of thieves, used the door you opened in the Temple of Time and entered the sacred realm. But when he laid his hands on the Triforce, the legend came true. The Triforce separated into 3 parts. Only the Triforce of power remained in Ganondorf's hand. The strength of the Triforce of power enabled him to become a mighty, evil king, but his dark ambitions were not satisfied. To gain complete mastery of the world, Ganondorf started looking for those chosen by destiny to hold the 2 other Triforce parts. The one who holds the Triforce of courage is you, JP. By the way, this is the same sort of zoom. Well, it's slightly different. It wasn't that weird dolly zoom that I mentioned when we walked into the castle for the first time as a child. But we're still talking about all this sort of Zelda lore in the background and the Triforce and, at that point, spiritual stones, which are all connected, obviously. But you get that same sort of zoomy action. Makes you look like the hero because it's, the camera is low. Anyway, I'm talking a lot about this sort of stuff. I love cinematic stuff. Check out my link below because I started on YouTube not as a gaming channel, but as a film and photography channel. So I definitely know my camera gear, my lighting gear, audio gear, all of that stuff. So if you like that sort of stuff, I have short films and video tutorials, photography tutorials. All of that is in my channel link below. Please subscribe to that channel as well. And the other, who holds the Triforce of Wisdom, is the 7th sage, who is destined to be the leader of them all. I'm bragging a little bit there, but, you could all be equal. I guess you do have the Triforce of Wisdom. So we hear Zelda's lullaby. It is I, the Princess of Hyrule, Zelda. Of course, we all know this now. We've all played Super Smash Bros. And all of that. But back then, this was a surprise. I apologize for meeting you in disguise, but it was necessary to hide from the King of Evil. Please forgive me. I guess one of the ultimate reveals, this is a completely separate comment here, one of the ultimate reveals in Nintendo gaming history was Samus. Samus Aran, or Aran, I don't know how you pronounce it. Metroid. If you know the Metroid universe, then you know that at the, I believe it was the end of, was it the, it wasn't the end of the first game. It might have been the second game. I'm not sure. Comment below. At the end of that game, it was shown that Samus was a woman the entire time. It may have been Super Metroid. Anyway, that was a big deal. It was a big deal here. So Sheik is a badass, and Zelda is Sheik. So on that day 7 years ago, Ganondorf attacked Hyrule Castle. So now we see it from her point of view. I saw you as I was escaping from the castle with my attendant Impa. We have seen this scene 3 times. There's at least 3 times. There was the dream, there was when it happened to us, and now in black and white as an artistic choice. I thought I should entrust the ocarina to you. I thought that would be our best chance. So we hear every point of view here. As long as you had the ocarina in your possession, I thought Ganondorf could never enter the sacred realm, but something I could never expect happened. After you opened the door of time, the Master Sword sealed you away in the sacred realm. Your spirit remained in the sacred realm, and then the Triforce fell into Ganondorf's hands. He went on to invade the sacred realm. Ganondorf had become the evil king, and the sacred realm became a world of evil. All of this is an unfortunate coincidence. I passed myself off as a Sheikah and hoped that you would return. I waited for 7 years. And now you're back. The Dark Age ruled by Ganondorf, the evil king, will end. The 6 sages will open the sealed door and lure Ganondorf back into the sacred realm. I will then seal the door to the sacred realm from this world. Thus, Ganondorf, the evil king, will vanish from Hyrule. JP, in order to do this, I need your courage again. Please protect me while I do my part. And here is a weapon that can penetrate the evil king's defenses, the power given to the chosen ones. The sacred arrow of light. 3 exclamation points, seemingly italicized. I love the sound effects. There are all sorts of sound effects that are like stock, that have just come into common use. And I've never heard these anywhere else. I mean, obviously we've heard the little jingle, but it's been remade, reused. But some of these sounds I've never heard anywhere else. Correct me if I'm wrong. The Temple of Time is rumbling. Do not adjust your mobile device? Let me know if you watch this on a cell phone versus a tablet versus your computer. It makes a difference, I've noticed. I believe I'm making these videos in 1440p, which is 2K. There's no real reason, technically, to go anything above, like, 480p. But my camera is slightly better than that. I commend you for avoiding my pursuit for 7 long years. But you let your guard down. I knew you would appear if I let this kid wander around. I like the sound of him just hitting the giant pink rupee. My only mistake was to slightly underestimate the power of this kid. No, it was not the kid's power I misjudged. It was the power of the Triforce of Courage. But with the Triforce of Wisdom that Zelda has, when I obtain these 2 Triforces, then I will become the true ruler of the world. If you want to rescue Zelda, come to my castle. So many great cinematic shots. I know they've remastered this game and whatnot, but one of these days they're gonna have to make a version of this game that is a remake. Not that I absolutely love this one. In fact, I prefer this. Everyone says the 3DS version is amazing, and no doubt I'm sure it is. It also corrects a bunch of little quirks, like the Iron Boots menu and being able to, I don't know, there's so many things to talk about that I've already mentioned in like 19 other videos up to this point. But anyway, I still prefer my Nintendo 64 copy. But if they did a remake, not a remaster, I would be all over that thing. Let's get just a full power meter here. And we shall go ahead and save because I am an obsessive saver. As I always mention, my N64 likes to crap out in the middle of a run. So, if something happens, you will hear me first, expletives, followed by me pressing the button after a blue screen and having to restart the game, probably from the Temple of Time, because as an adult Link, you that's the only place you start up. By the way, we never did this. There are a few places in this game where these gray rocks you can pick up now that you have the silver gauntlets. These can only be destroyed by the megaton hammer and the regular tan rocks you can either bomb or hit them with the megaton hammer, but these cannot be destroyed by the megaton hammer. While we are here, there's something I realize we have never actually actioned in this game. We have talked about it, but we haven't done it. So, and I don't know if it works in, I'm playing a version 1.2 cartridge, which would have been, it's still obviously an original N64 cartridge, but it is not the rare version that has the call to prayer in the fire temple, along with a bunch of other changes. We still do get the moon and star on the blocks and things like that, and the mirror shield, but I think that's every N64 cartridge. We have to save Princess Zelda from her imprisonment in Ganon's castle. You know, sometimes my L button works and sometimes it doesn't. Right now it seems to be working just fine. Look at that. You can do that and it makes a hilarious, great sound. Cool for hubs. To release the hubs anyway. Okay, so the thing we've always avoided doing here is we have talked about the infinite sword glitch. We're going to test it because I'm not actually sure if it works in version 1.2. I know it works in version 1.0. That's the first version of the cartridge. So I will explain once again for those of you who haven't seen some of these videos I make shorts about. The infinite sword glitch is essentially where your sword becomes, without having to swing it, becomes something that will attack anything that it touches. Just me walking around like this, it will hit objects. But the way to glitch your way into actually doing that is you have to stand next to something where your action item, your action button, which is the A button, something is actionable. So in this case, it says check. So if you then crouch, stab, and in the middle of your stab, before it actually hits, you want to cancel that hit by pressing the A button. And it'll take you maybe a few tries until you get really good at it. That did not work. I'm not sure that worked. I think it's easier with a sign so that you're not, that was way too slow. If you actually hit, then it doesn't work. We need to go and try it on something. You can use a sign, or you can use an NPC. I think it's harder to do on something like that, simply because once your sword hits, then it nullifies you trying to cancel it. So it's easier to do when you swing it like I said before, a sign or something like that. That isn't one that you destroy. So we have to actually, it's kind of funny. There's no actionable item that isn't like me walking all the way out here. Let's go to this guy, the Poe Keeper, or Poe whatever. Okay, so here's an NPC. And so the actionable item is speak. So let's try it. Okay, so you saw how that did that, and he talked to him. So if we did this right, and I'm not sure we did, it may have to be a sign, because no, it does not seem to have worked. The sign that it actually worked is your sword will actually glow. Your sword will glow like white. It's very strange. It's super hard to pull off, and let's try it with the open door. I don't know if... No, it won't. Let's go to a sign. I have a better chance of doing this with a sign for whatever reason. Don't know why. I thought there was a sign right here. Here it is. To Lun Lun Ranch or something. There it is. Okay, so if you look at the tip of the sword, it's actually working. Now, I'm sorry it took a few tries. Like I said, if you actually hit something, like we were hitting that stone earlier, it will absolutely undo what it is you're trying to do. But now the sign is that the tip of the sword has this sort of white thing on it, and that means that you've done it correctly. So we're gonna hit this Poe by not even swinging our sword. Oh, I forgot. It's actually, you cannot. Alright. That is the worst example. Only because the Poe keeps moving. Let's get this back. Show you again. So you come in, check your actionable item, then you... And now it works. So let's test it on something a little bit funnier. So another thing you'll notice with a glitch is it won't... Usually the camera begins to drift behind you, and if you're running, it just won't let that happen. So you have to press Z for it to happen. So if you get close to this tree, it just keeps hitting it. And you can do this to fight bosses and stuff. If you just stand next to something, it will just do this infinitely. Hence, infinite sword glitch. So there's a couple of caveats to this. If you swing your sword with the B button, it will cancel the infinite sword glitch. So you can put your sword away, but the only way to get it back out without actually swinging it is, and so that you keep the infinite sword glitch, is if you do a backflip, and in the middle of doing your backflip, you hit the B button so that he unsheathes his sword without actually swinging it, you will maintain the sword glitch. And there it is. You can see how it's like silver, shiny. So everything... Alright, this is really funny. So, the infinite sword glitch, there is a caveat. Because the game thinks you're swinging your sword, and it's actioning it this way, it will not allow you to platform. If you're standing on a ledge, it won't let you jump off that ledge. You can jump onto a ledge, but it won't let you down from a ledge. So let me see. This is kind of a different ledge because of where the water is. If you get on this fence. Okay, now I'm in the water. Okay. That was a bad example because I jumped over it. But if you stand on a ledge. Oh, I swung my sword. I was trying to do the backflip, but I didn't have enough room. Let's reaction it. So, as you can see, part of the problem sometimes is that you need something to action it on. So, you thought I was going into Ganon's castle, and it turned into a tutorial on how to infinite sword glitch. Isn't that hilarious? Keep doing that. That's not what I want to do. Okay, it's not quick enough. There you go. You almost have to spam the button to check the sign. Now we have it. So what I was getting at was, if you get onto a ledge and see it won't let, it's kind of glitching in the camera being behind you unless you press Z. It's kind of like stuttering a bit. It won't let you off the ledge. So I'm trying to jump off this ledge, and the only way to do it is either to side hop or to backflip, because it thinks you're swinging the sword, and that will not let you grab onto a ledge on the way down. So no matter how hard you try, it will not allow you to jump off of this unless you do a backflip, which will keep your infinite sword glitch. So just a bunch of weird quirks. People have figured this out for a long time. You know, if you want to beat a boss really, really quickly, you can do this. The problem is, again, actioning an item. Sometimes there's like a pot in the room for you to lift, or a rock, or something like that. When you're fighting a boss, that will allow you to do that, and then you can just smack away at the enemy. As long as you're close, it will just continue to do that. So, yeah. Now, this glitch also works with the Megaton Hammer, which is extra feisty because you can break rocks with it. So, let's give that a try. We are getting, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. We're 27 minutes into this video already, and we have done nothing. So, we swung the sword on purpose. Now, I believe you can do the same thing. I don't know if it's by switching, or if it's, I don't remember. There's a way to do it with the Megaton Hammer. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it this time. Nah. There's a way to do it. For those of you who know how to do it. Alright. Screw this Poe. Alrighty. We are going to actually head back to what our main objective was here. Sorry about that tangent there. Some of you will appreciate it more than others. I think it's something cool you can do. I think I did it by accident many years ago, and then I had no idea what I was doing, and I thought the game was just flipping out. JP, can you hear me? It's Rauru, the sage. We six will gather our power to create a bridge to the castle where Ganondorf dwells. The castle's keep, which is known as Ganon's Tower, is protected by 6 evil barriers. Bring down the 6 barriers and save Princess Zelda. Now we have a sweet gummy bear themed bridge. I mean rainbow colored bridge. And it's like super transparent and shiny and freaking awesome. And that is just amazing. Alright, we're gonna head in here. Now I'm going to switch to my Hylian shield because I think it's classic. I absolutely love my mirror shield, but I don't think it has any good use inside of this temple. And so that is what we're doing here. I don't care much for BMOS. Alright, we have this situation going on. Alright. So, we cannot get past there without being jellified. So, now I don't believe there's any particular order you're supposed to do these in. However, you will find that certain areas will get you stuck. So I would go ahead and, I guess it's sort of outlined here, to do them in temple order, which, if you obeyed the laws of the game or just followed Navi, that is usually how it will work. So, interesting. Yeah, it's really hard to action that glitch with Come on now. If I remember correctly, this is not a chest I want to open, or it's just, you know, useless fodder. Yeah. So, you can spot the problem, perhaps. There is 1 up there, and 4 down here. So you're not going to be able to reach both of these. Now, in this place, you're going to use the most magic power. Even more so, I think, than in the temple, the Shadow Temple. So the question of, do you need fire arrows to finish this game? I'm not sure. Can you technically just go up here and use Din's fire again and then light that one? Maybe that's something someone should test. Maybe I already screwed that up, because now I can't unlight this thing, can I? Alrighty. So now we need our boots. And we're going to also use this. I don't know why. My 20 years of experience is telling me that that is necessary. I'm also hopefully that got him. Yes. Alright, walking on these is a nightmare. Walking with these boots, I mean. This one, okay. I'm gonna wait for that one, because that's gonna throw me off, isn't it? Now I thought there was something there. We're gonna figure that out. Woo! Is it this one that you have to take all the way across? I don't remember. Oh, there's a button. There's a button down there. Okay. This is horrible. Is that fan on? Yes, it is. Okay, it's off. I use the shadow of myself so I can drop on that spot, if you know what I'm saying. Or if it makes sense what I'm saying. Okay, now we have a hook-shotable target. And that should be the last one. Short of a... of falling off, I mean. Okay, so it's good to get some... I wanted some magic power. There we go. So now, the only way to get through these is to use our brand new light arrows. And it is somewhat a shame that we get them so late, but then that adds to their magic, mysticism, what have you. Ganondorf can only be defeated by the power of these. Saria, I believe Saria or Saria is one of the most tragic characters. Your best friend, basically your only friend. Your only real friend through your childhood before you skipped from the years 10 to 17, and all you've been doing is trying to destroy evil since you've been 10 years old. So your only friend that you had in life was Saria, and she was the only one that you never really saw. What I mean by that is you never saw her you know, after she became trapped in the forest temple, there was nothing left for you to... we're going to be in this situation, aren't we? Ever since you left the forest, you couldn't see Saria. So the last thing she really did for you is the ocarina that she handed you. You left the forest. There wasn't another guy, was there? Do I want to touch this? I really don't. One of those is just like a frozen thing. But anyway, you see Princess Rudo, you see Darunia. Obviously you see Rauru every time you go to the sacred temple. Oh, this is one of the timed ones. Okay. We're gonna do this. I know it seems backwards, but we need to get over there. Who else do you see? You see Naburu, of course, and then the Shadow Temple is Impa. So there aren't really... Oh, crap. Okay. You need to go back to grab some blue fire. And action all these stalactites again. So Saria, again, your only friend. I know I'm talking sort of disjointed here. It's hard to swing your sword and solve puzzles while at the same time trying to talk about all the various themes in this game. But you're, in a way, Saria is, your childhood is gone. You know, that's the short and very sad way of putting it. I give you 2 minutes for this thing. Not that I'm complaining, but is there anything else you do in here? Oh, you still have to get back. Okay. That's why there's 2 minutes here. This is not the end of it. Okay, we're gonna switch. You have this rusted button that you can only use that on. Oh, I figured this, you couldn't climb up here until you had to move that again or something. Okay. Water temple. So here's another kind of interesting thing about the order of these. Yes, we said we were kind of doing them in order. We started with the forest temple, but now we've hit the water temple. So again, we talked about this theme is kind of continuing with this development of the game, is how the iron boots were put into the ice cavern instead of the ice arrows, which were then flip-flopped and put into a very late stage of the game in the Gerudo training facility. So everything that got moved around made it so that the order of all these temples also shifted, but maybe they never did that with how the plans of this game, this final thing, maybe someone worked on this structure for the final temple, the final dungeon or showdown or whatever you want to call it, and maybe just maybe the order of the temples that they had in development matched what you were doing here. So maybe you had to go forest temple and then water temple and then shadow temple, and then I believe that's fire, and then what would be after would be the light. I guess the light doesn't really matter so far because Rauru gives you, and then maybe the spirit temple would be last. So isn't it just a weird thing? Is there something there about all of that? So the most objects that you sort of need here for this Alright. We're gonna go across. Do we even need this? Likely no. Freaking rupees. Oh, we went all the way across, thinking I had time to get over there. And now we're going to do this again. The old green bubble. And the stupid likes. We'll give it a one go, because I hate having to hit these likes again. Again, I think likes were just an instrument of how do we make it so that the rupee system in this game isn't completely useless, and we use them to buy essentially all of the tunics in this game. You just don't even need money. You don't need money in this game. Can we make it? Ooh, that's why the traction on these boots. Oh, you gotta go all the way back? And the like is there? Terrible. I have used up so much magic power just getting across. Ugh. Oh no. Oh, if he throws me off, he's gonna throw me off, isn't he? Watch this happen. Oh. Get your thing back. Okay, so if my game were to crash right now and I have no save point, I guess I'd go back to the other save point. But if you somehow saved or had a game over type situation, you would lose your shield, you would lose your tunic, and that is why this overrated rupee system. There's a whole video on this guy who says that the rupee economy in Zelda Ocarina of Time is completely broken. It is a delusion. He's pretty mad about it, but he also makes some very good points. Anyway, that's hilarious, if I'm honest. So, do we even need this? All right, what do I have on? I always put on the Goron tunic because it takes less damage. Another thing we talked about. It takes less damage if you use it. Alright, so now we don't need that because we should have what I think is also entirely too late in this game is this item. Which, again, for other development reasons, the silver gauntlets we got very late in the game. And if the Spirit Temple weren't that late in the game, and you had ice arrows earlier, then the need for getting the golden gauntlets right after you just got the silver gauntlets, and consequently the mirror shield as well, you know, there are a few reasons this game, though amazing, has its flaws. Okay, are we going to need to access that button again? So we are using the same freaking thing every time. There's one on this side as well. Did I just not hit it, or? There we go. Oh, this one's worse. Okay, I think you actually didn't need it. You just use the lens of truth, and you go on faith when you're running with the traction of these things is so poor. So that's what opens the door. Okay, and then you can do this. Luckily, you can do this. Bam. Just don't hit the side of it because you'll fall off. Alright. We need magic power because we use so much of it. Arrows are also nice. Let's take off these boots, which I believe we may need again anyway. I like the sound. I wish my toaster made that sound. I don't know how it would do that, but wouldn't that be freaking awesome? The shadow barrier is dispelled. Interesting use of the verb to be there. That conjugation is dispelled, was dispelled, has been dispelled. I don't know. Is dispelled, kind of like we are come. Not like that, but like we've arrived. Not like that, but like we got somewhere. You know? Maybe you don't. This is the fire temple. So something interesting here, if you have the Kokiri boots on, which is what I have right now, these platforms sink. So again, you are forced to deal with awful traction. So that is exactly what we're going to do, and we're in a silver rupee challenge. And now that we have the gauntlets, there's something else that we can do, and there's something that I have to show you outside of this place. Ooh. And it concerns our defensive hearts. So this is the first time you do this thing. And it's like the only, like, 3 times in the game or something that you ever move a giant pillar for no reason. And you toss it all the way over there. So, again, that's cool. But, like, what? We do this twice in the game and that's it? Alright, I hate these stupid things. Alright, so this is a weird thing here. This mechanic I absolutely hate. And it's when we come back from over here. So you can go over there, but as soon as that platform descends, it's hard to jump back onto here. So what I'm going to do is, stupidly, maybe, is I'm going to switch out to my Kokiri boots, simply because this jump is very glitchy. I think it's poorly done. If you try to use the hover boots, you get stuck like it's some sort of platform, but because of the diagonal cut, it won't let you back on. So if you don't make it perfectly, you'll just fall off and have to start over. So, terrible. Alright, so now the question is, how do I get over there? How do I get... Oh, there's a thing here. We are 48 minutes into this video. We spent entirely too long, but I think it was worth it on Infinite Sword Glitch. Alright. They all say different things, like, go get 'em, tiger, or, I don't know, Spider-Man reference. The fire barrier is dispelled. Hurry up, brother. That's his, Hulk Hogan impression. Was that number 4? It's interesting that you have to do the light sage, because prior to this, we didn't. So, grab and throw. You think that would dispel the thing, but no. Alright, seemingly, this looks like one of these. I don't know why I did that. Alright, we're going to take these boots off again. The traction kills me. The traction kills me. Ah, one of these. I was under the impression that you could use the lens of truth to just like see which key or whatever, but it turns out it's just this one. So we are not going to open any of these chests because Oh, I missed the arrow. We're going to open the only one that matters, which gets you over here. Alright, we have another key situation here. What are we going to use? What if the Song of Storms did it? What if busting out like AC/DC did it? Really, that's all you have to do? They couldn't think of something better for this room. They're just like, we need a couple of rooms to get through, and we don't really know, so let's just play the song and get the key. That's a little lazy. Alright, now they thought of a room that's like, this sucks. Alright. Ooh. So they're going clockwise. I'll wait for that one. Alright, we gotta go clockwise. It's just easier. It's not that one. It is this one. Ooh, we got in through the door. And as you can see, this does not go. Just because we needed to do that, I guess. I'm telling you, I think they just ran out of ideas there. That's my opinion on that particular one. By the way, okay, so we mentioned at the start of this video that it feels like everything that we learned from Super Mario 64 sort of culminated in, now we're going to go through Ganon's castle. And I think, if you think that's a stretch of an argument, wait till I will probably put it in the next video, because I'm going to do something here. Once I've dispelled all of these, there's still more to go through. But I'm also going to do something outside of Ganon's castle that we haven't yet done that is going to help us. And my argument was for I hate it when the BMOs don't like immediately. There we go. What was I saying? In the final I'm just gonna call it walking up. There is a set of stairs that is very reminiscent of the set of stairs that you go to fight the final Bowser in. And so I don't think that's by accident. Where's the last one? It's over there. We'll just go. Of course. Did it twice. It's like you're stubbing your toe. If that were a real thing, that would cut your legs off. He's just like, I hit on my desk. Alright, I thought this was one of the cooler mechanics. You do not need bomb chews in this entire game until you get here. Then there's no way for you to do anything else. Alright. There should be a way to hit that, but apparently not. So the game gives you bomb chews, I believe. Bam. If for some strange reason you didn't get them before, the only way to get across is like this. And for whatever reason, you don't have to work for bomb chews. Meaning the amount of bomb chews. It just tops you out at 50 bomb chews. Everything else you have to kind of upgrade to get to. Alright, this is one of these. What are we looking at here? Okay, it's one of these. Alright. So just to get our fire. Oh, I try to use that, and now I need the mirror shield. And I said I wouldn't use it. Oh, that's the wrong one. Oh, of course, there's freaking these guys. Hey, rupees I don't need. Thank you. Again? There's just more of these. More rupees? Thank you. Oh, I got it wrong 3 times? I just, I couldn't get enough of these. More rupees? Oh yeah, for sure. Man, you could just farm rupees in here if you want. I guess you can't really come back to this, can't you? Well, yeah, you can. You could come back to this room if for some weird reason you wanted to. And just farm all those rupees. A Deku Nut. That would, I bet Ganon's, the bane of Ganon's existence is the Deku Nut. Actually. The spirit barrier is dispelled. Hurry up, kid. I think that was the last one, right? Very cool. Very cool. Alright, so we have been sent back here. Alright, so here's what I'm going to do. That is obviously the way that you have to go. There are plenty of more things. I have 0 keys, so it still thinks that this is a temple. Like, it treats it as such, is what I'm saying. But I'm going to go out because 2 reasons. I can get full hearts, full magic meter, and one more thing that will complete your fairies. It always bothered me that he goes straight out from there when he loads out of that, and it's like you're almost falling off the... like he's running off the bridge itself. You have to turn left. So this thing that we were hitting earlier is the... I don't know what fairy we're up to, like 4? There's the first magic meter. No, there's way more than that. There's like Din's... There's Din's Fire, Nairu's Love, Farore's Wind. There's the first magic meter, the second magic meter. This one, what's that, like 6? Look, the fire has changed. Holy crap. Remember when I said, I thought these torches were all different based on the power that you were getting, and they all happened to be green, and I thought that was weird. But this is in the same location as where Din's Fire was, just as an adult, here in Ganon's castle. So something's not right. Or maybe that's on purpose. Don't exactly know. But lo and behold, the fire is orange. So I wasn't completely crazy. It is different. Make it your ringtone. Welcome, JP. I am the Great Fairy of Courage. I'm going to enhance your defensive power. Receive it now. Nice. That was a burp, sorry. Your defensive power is enhanced. Your defensive power has been enhanced. Damage inflicted by enemies will be reduced by half. Will be reduced by half or will be reduced in half? This is for Facebook. You know those stupid little mathematical things where they get you and it's the words. It's not even the math itself. By half, reduce. If you reduce something by half, you are doubling it. No, that would be in division. Reducing would be subtracting half. But subtracting half from what's being taken away, is like taking half damage, right? You all know what I mean. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to save inside of Ganon's castle, because otherwise we'd start at the Temple of Time again. But we now have full magic meter, full hearts. We have the defensive enhancement. And I believe I have 2 fairies. I don't think I'll need them. Well, I take that back. We'll see. We still have some yet to do. If you have made it this far, you are 1 hour into this video. You have heard me speak, unreasonably so, about a great many things. And I appreciate that. But I would appreciate it if you would like, comment, and subscribe. You made it this far. Please subscribe. You clearly like this content. So I'm going to switch back to my overhead camera. This is my fat face. This is my microphone. By the way, I have changed my camera angle and my microphone. Someone said they really liked the sound of my voice. It was very ASMR. I don't know how true that is, especially when I'm screaming at keys, especially the fire keys variety, catching me on fire while I'm trying to explain something. But some people say that they really like this. So if I speak really softly into the microphone, it makes them happy in weird ways. We shall leave it at that. But again, if you like this stuff, please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. We are going to be doing, I may split it up into 2 final videos of the playthrough. We have other things that we can play through in this game. If we're going to go for completion, 100% completion, I don't know if I'm going to do that. You can get all the gold skulltulas, you can get all the heart pieces, you can get the Bigoron sword. Oh, I'll definitely do a Bigoron sword side quest, because that one's worth it. It's really worth it if you do it very early in the game, because it's stronger than the Master Sword. So, plenty of side quests left to do. The Happy Mask Salesman, getting the cow. Yeah, if you haven't done that before, getting the cow in your house. I'm not joking. You can do that. For those of you who haven't played this game. For everyone else, for all the veterans of Ocarina of Time, you already know this. I have talked too much. I will see you on the next one.